Well, hello everybody, and welcome to our latest webinar about the next generation comparison microscope, VisionX. The webinar will last about 1 hour today, and I'd just like to introduce our presenters. Firstly, Remo Bouchard is the president of Project TINA, and I'll explain what he will talk about on the next slide. Our next presenter is Andrew Boyle. He also works for Ultra Electronics Forensic Technology as our IBIN liaison and Firearms reference manager. We have a guest speaker from the Danish National Police, Henrik Larsen, and myself, who will moderate the session, James Hopper. So just to give some housekeeping on the webinar, as you'll see on the screen, you'll see on the right-hand side a control panel. If you want to free up the space on your desktop, then you can collapse the control panel and just minimize that. And you can also view the webinar in a full screen by pressing the button as indicated. In terms of questions, hopefully you will have plenty. The questions will be done via sending a message on the control panel. So if you type your question into the control panel and press send, then we'll collect those questions, and towards the end of the webinar we'll start to pick through some of those and get you some answers. So in terms of the agenda for the 1 hour webinar, we will start with Remo giving us an overview of the VisionX comparison microscope. We'll then move on to Andy, who will talk about some of the benefits of linking the VisionX to the IBIS technology using Hip Viewer, and also a new feature which is remote confirmation, so being able to confirm remotely across a network. We will then have a presentation from Henrik Larsen of the Danish National Police, and he'll give us some real-world feedback on their use of the VisionX microscope and the benefits that they've experienced. And then towards the end, as I said a moment ago, we'll field some of your questions and get some answers back to you. So without further ado, I will pass over to Remo, who will give us an overview of VisionX.
Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everybody participating on our web seminar. I'm glad to inform you about our new development, about our comparison called VisionX, and we have a special feature on this system, and we name it See the Difference. To see the difference, we have to go a little bit deeper into the VisionX comparison microscope. And here you can see our excellent resolution of optics. But we took a lot of efforts to make a unique design. The unique design is that we have an optical bridge on the top, we have a binocular, we have a controller, and you see we have a lot of space for your evidences, for your examples related to tool marks or ballistics. On the other side here we have the illumination systems which and the controller controlling of the light source, which in fact is easy to use, and it's very compact and easy to touch by the operator. A little bit information about our optical specification. The system incorporates two objectives with a magnification from 6x up to 104x. This is mainly basic ballistic applications. Then we can add to the system useful magnification starting from 1.3 up to 4.2. This is mainly used for tool mark investigation. And finally, we can add another optical objective which gives you a magnification up to 243x magnification. As you can see, we give you a very bright optical possibilities. And in fact, if we concentrate on the field of view, with the lowest magnification, we set up a field of view of 169 millimeter, and this is a large area which is visible. And on the right side here, we have the long working distance, which allows you to operate all the different evidences. Iris diaphragm, in our main objectives, we included some diaphragms. We have steps from 6 to 7 steps. That means here we start with 2.8, it goes up to 16, or even here already 2.4 up to 16 different settings of the diaphragm. The optical setups are related to an image left or right side. We can have a side-by-side comparison, as you can visualize here. This is a screwdriver which is splitted, and we have to visualize the surface of the screwer here from 2 different light directions. On the other side, we have a superimposition possibilities, which is displayed here. That means this is mainly used, let's say, in document examination or sometimes in tool marks, that we can superimpose 2 images. One of the main issues to develop a new comparison microscope was related to the ergonomics. Ergonomics is one of the main important thing if you work long-term with the system. So we have done a study that in fact all different people can work on our VisionX. In fact, here you see bodies up to, let's say, close to 150 centimeter, up to 185, up to 190. We have done a study. In fact, the development relates afterwards that we had to develop a 30-degree viewing angle and a motorized Z-axis. In fact, that we can move the binocular up and down for the best position of the operator. As you can see here, the movement of the binocular is larger than 60 millimeter, and in conjunction with the setup for different user, which we can store the best position of the binocular in our controller. This gives you a lot of variations and gives you the best setup for your different height operators. In conjunction with the basic system, we offer also a working bench, a motorized working bench, because the conjunction between the working bench, which you can also change the height more than 300 millimeters, and in conjunction with the best setup of the binocular, you have a complete ergonomic workstation which allows you for long time investigation on the product. On the other hand, we added some very helpful tools, as in fact here we have a drawer, we have a keyboard holder, and on the other side also we have a PC holder which fits the PC directly on the workbench, which allows you to have enough space for the computer, monitor, the basic system VisionX and your objects. The controller was one of the most important part, how we control all the motorized comparison microscope. We have here the controller, which works on a touch screen. On the other hand, we have the joysticks for left and right side to operate the VisionX. So we have here the movement of the X and Y stages, and here we operate the Z-axis. The Z-axis has a very fine movement, as we have also on the X and Y movement. When it comes to the start-up level, this is the screen. Here we can select the different users where we set up the binocular. Here we initialize the X and Y and Z axis, and in the operational level we operate the different magnifications, and here we are operating the different optical setups. In this case we mean we have a full image left, full image right, superimposed image and side-by-side comparison. In this field here you select the different possible magnifications on the system. But also here there are the synchronized icons where you can synchronize either the X and Y axis or the Z axis, or you can synchronize all three axes together, which is also a unique feature in our VisionX system. Illumination. If it comes to illumination, especially in microscopy, illumination is one of the most important issues, and I think we find an excellent solution in conjunction with experienced user. First of all, we have a LED ring light in conjunction with a spotlight. We have an excellent variation of different light sources. Comes back to the ring light. With the ring light we also can operate different situations. We can operate the full LEDs, we can operate only half of it or just a segment part of it, or we have two segments, and in fact we can rotate the different segments by the controller. Intensity of the light, we can individually set up the intensity of the different light source. When it comes to the operation, I think it's very useful that the operational knobs are very close to the system, and in fact here we can operate the system directly on the binocular. So we have a knob to turn off and on the spotlight. We have a wheel for the intensity control. We operate the ring light. We operate the segment control, and additionally we can connect the LED shadow free light directly also on the built-in controller. Just try to move the presentation. Here on this slide we see the LED shape light. The LED shape light is a very useful light source, especially when it comes to color through reflection. With all the rest, with the spotlight, with the ring light and this shadow-free illumination, in fact you have a complete set of illuminations. Concentrating on the accessories, also here we have developed new accessories which will fit all to your evidences. We have brush holders, we have spring holders for the bullets, we have different flexible holders, we have tilting holders for you which fits to all your evidences. On the left side here for Diablo bullets, either we can stick them on it or we have a plastiline fixation. For tool marks we have this special tool mark stage which is rotatable, tiltable, and also to the tool mark stage we can combine with a small plastiline holder or with a spring holder which fits different objects. When it comes to flat objects, let's say like document examination, we have a special stage surface which we even can use with transmitted light. We can add this LED transmitted plate directly on this surface stage, and we could also adapt the UV A365 nanometer, which is mainly used for document examination. When it comes to anti-reflection, system can also add it with some polarized filters, so we can delete reflections, or you can have a special investigation on plastic material, which shows you the difference strengthness of the plastic material. When it comes to an organizer, as in fact we have a lot of tools, we supply the basic system with a standard tool station which helps you to organize your different holders. On the other hand, optionally, we can set up on the left or on the right side of the VisionX an object tray, and there you can load your evidences. Camera, we offer you different technologies. We offer you, in fact, our standard 10 million pixel camera, which is in CMOS technology. CMOS technology is the most modern technology now, and with a fast connection to your computer, it's a USB 3 connection. On top of this, we could supply a 12.5 million pixel camera in Firewire and CCD technology. If it comes more to a basic system, for different circumstances, we can supply you with a full HD camera, with a HD resolution, but with a unique feature that you can store the image directly on a SD memory card. That means, in fact, you do not need any computer or software to capture an image. Dual viewing system. With the VisionX we can supply optionally a motorized high movement dual viewing system. This is mainly used, of course, if you have to teach people for learning how to investigate the product, to supervise somebody. This is an interesting additional tool to the VisionX. Software. I think an important tool, a combination between hardware and software, but which recognize the easy to use of the system. In fact, we have developed a new surface, we have developed the software completely new, and we have structurized the software also. In fact, on the left side, we have an icon which only is responsible for the acquisition, that makes to take the pictures. Then we have an icon to allows you to use all the different comparison modes. Also in this mode we can do some annotations, we can do some measurements. This is all a part of this comparison tab. Save the picture. This is another tab here. This is the organization tab. Here we manage your images, we manage reports, we manage also a case manager. A case manager is a very helpful tool. Here you can store the different images with informations from the VisionX, like magnification, positions, and finally we have also a report generator, which you can add your label, and finally we can print out this directly to produce a PDF file. So there are already structurized informations behind the software. Confirm a hit. This will Andy will explain a little bit more. If a hit viewer is installed, in this case we have a direct tab which connects you with the IBIS system. Remote control, everything what you operate on the controller, you can operate also via the VisionX software, and on the right side here you see the different control buttons which operates the VisionX. unique is our autofocus. I think we are the only company who supply a focus. As you can see here, even we can focus directly into the firing pin. And in fact, this is now the focus, the bottom of the firing pin, and also here we have a clear image with a high resolution. Maybe once again to see the procedure here, so you can move with the joystick, and in fact here on the left side on the remote control you operate the autofocus. We also can offer you a multifocus image with our EDF module. That means from several pictures you can develop a full focused image on the VisionX software. Here some examples for firearms and tool marks investigation. Here, this is a key copier. You can see some marks here. If somebody copies the key with the finder, they will leave some stripes on the key copier, and this can be easily visualized. Or this is a pin from a locker. When they open this with a Bulgari tool, then you see the scratches on the pin directly, so you know that this locker was not operated by the original key. Firearm investigation, comparing of pins here. We see here the brief face. We see the ejection marks here, comparison. I think we have an excellent image quality with our VisionX. I think this is clear for you. Numbers we see here on top, laser numbers. Try to imitate the number on a weapon here, but in our system I think we clearly see the welding process here on this 1 and 5 compared to a original mark. We supply also a firearm reference table. The firearm reference table is supplied by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, but with every system you buy, we supply a DVD database which gives you information, or where you can choose different informations on existing weapons on the market. In fact, here we have we searched for a Glock, and then you can choose different type of the pistols in this case, and you will have a complete informations illustration on this DVD. I think it's very helpful to write reports also, and also to define the right weapon. Important is also our global customer support. I think this is unique in our company from Ultra Electronic Forensic Technology and Projektina, that we can offer you a worldwide service. In fact, we have all over the world different locations, and all the locations are fit to servicing our VisionX. They have spares, they have trained and validated people available to support you all over the world with the best service. Some features. I think the VisionX offers you an excellent optical performance. The system is fully motorized. We have magnifications from 1.3 up to 243 times, and we have an excellent field of view from 169 millimeter with the smallest magnification. And on the other hand, we offer you a long working distance, minimum 95 millimeter up to 233 millimeter. And our unique autofocus function, which helps you to perform the best image. And last but not least, the global customer service. I think we should not underestimate this. This is a very important part of our complete workstation and of our service all over the world, this global customer support. We already sold a lot of equipment all over the world. Here a few countries. We got, in fact, orders every day, and I think it's a good view that you can see where our systems already exist all over the world. In fact, this an investment into a VisionX is for a better and faster performance. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Andy Boyle. I'll be showing you the next portion of the presentation here. What I'm going to be concentrating on is the relationship between VisionX and the IBIS Trax HD 3D, how we're maximizing the relationship we have between our companies and putting that forward into the equipment itself. So we are unique in the fact that we are the only automated ballistics communication system and comparison microscope that are linked in the world. We're both under the same umbrella, and as such, we can leverage that in a direction that no one else can. And what we want to do with that is be able to streamline your work process so that the work that you do on your IBIS machine translates directly to what you do later on your VisionX comparison, ultimately saving, of course, valuable time. And that means that Microscope can adapt to your needs, and we'll see that not just in the way it can adapt going from ballistics comparisons to tool marks by changing the objectives, but also adapting in the sense that you can go from working locally, like you normally do, to working over a greater distance, and we'll see that shortly. The functionality and benefits never before available. We're going to cover that with what our confirmation station can do, which is combining it with the hit viewer software, as well as a collaboration station for peer-to-peer viewing. So the confirmation station is a link between the IBIS Trax software and the VisionX. To get a sense of how that workflow would go, you've got your match point on the left here, and you would do your work as you typically do, review your correlation results, find a potential match in the results list. When something looks interesting, you'd create an unconfirmed hit that would save the match context. Now, an unconfirmed hit does not have a confirmation date in the hit field as you create it, and as such, it is waiting to be confirmed later on. And when we say that we save the match context, we're talking about the orientation of the exhibits, where the hairline is, what color you have of composition on it, even the light angles and settings such as contrast and brightness. All of those details are saved at the time that the hit is actually created. And as an unconfirmed hit, it would then be exported to your VisionX hit viewer software. And what's important here is that you don't know how long that time frame might be between step 2 and 3. If you have both pieces of evidence locally, that's great. You can go straight to your comparison microscope. But you may have to wait a significant amount of time there, days, maybe weeks, as one or both pieces of evidence need to come back from off-site storage, or you have to communicate with another lab to have it sent to you. What matters, what happens is that you may have a long amount of time between the time you confirmed it on the VisionX, on the match point, to the time that you actually go to do the comparison on the VisionX. But what you do is you access that hit here, and you bring it up on screen. And as it's brought up on screen, it first appears, your starting point is exactly how the orientation was back when you created that hit. So it immediately brings you back up to familiarity with what you saw, why you like this in the first place. That's your starting point, but you still have all of your freedom of movement that you have with Matchpoint to manipulate these exhibits, but as a default, it opens in exactly the orientation of where you saw the best relationship between these two exhibits. At that point, you can put the physical evidence onto your VisionX microscope and do your comparison while seeing right next door on the monitor what it is you're trying to achieve. And with your VisionX, you achieve it with your live manipulation of the microscope itself. And once you've done that comparison, from what you saw, you can either go back to your match point and confirm the hit, or if it was not a match, you delete it. But it's a way of maximizing the work that you've done on your match point, letting you benefit from it on the VisionX itself, and then going back and completing the process to either confirm or delete that hit. So it's really about streamlining all the work that you do to give you the most effective workflow you can have. The process is exactly the same with bullets. You'd review the correlation results, look at the best ones, and hopefully find one you like, create an unconfirmed hit between the bullets. Later on, you'd access the hit once the exhibits are in-house, refresh your memory with what you saw, do your physical comparison on the VisionX with the physical evidence, and go back to your match point and either confirm or delete the potential hit. Here's an example of how it looks in the real world. You've got the VisionX microscope right here, and on the VisionX computer, you've got the PIA software, the VisionX standard software, and you've got the hit viewer software right beside it. And if we get a close-up of that, you can see on the left, the IBIS image is the 3D image for viewing, and with that as your guide, it was simply recreated with the physical evidence, and you can see a lot of agreement in the real, what we can see between the real exhibits, as well as what was there between the 3D generated image that IBIS created. When we talk about the collaboration station, we're talking about peer-to-peer reviews, and this is something that is brand new in the world of comparison microscopes. Because interjurisdictional work is such a common thing, especially working with IBIS machines that correlate between jurisdictions and sometimes even between countries, cross-border crime is a common event to have to actually do comparisons about. But experts can now perform remote comparisons with the actual evidence in 2 different locations using the VisionX microscope. And that means that the physical evidence itself doesn't have to leave the site of its origin. If you've got 2 different laboratories at the VisionX microscope, you can do a comparison between those 2 microscopes, and doing that with a peer-to-peer review. That means that you don't have to actually ship the exhibits, so you're not worried about chain of custody issues. You're saving valuable time, and you're saving money as well. And ultimately, if necessary, experts can take control of another VisionX remotely as well and assist in how the comparison operates. And we can take a look at that here on this image. If you imagine I'm here in Denmark right now, in Copenhagen, you could have the reference half of the comparison on the left side of your microscope, and you'd have a live image on your screen here of what it is you're seeing on this bullet. The test half could be somewhere else in the world there, somewhere else in Europe, anywhere else there's a VisionX microscope. And they're working on this half, which appears on the other half of your screen. And you have live communication between the 2 experts on their respective microscopes. One is manipulating on one side, setting up the lighting perfectly on an area of interest, and when they see what's been created, the other person can, in real time, make their adjustments and do a comparison to the other half of the exhibit. And that's how, with exceptional craftsmanship, superior optics, and designed with the examiner's workflow in mind, VisionX is more than a microscope. We're talking about the workflow in mind, not just the workflow of today, but really what the workflow itself could be in the future. And that's where we're really pushing the relationship between what you can do with your IBIS machine and VisionX side by side. So I'll pass it to James now, and he will introduce the next speaker.
Thank you, Andy, and thank you, Remo. Well, hopefully that's given a good sense of the VisionX product from top to bottom, and some of the exciting new features that we are trying to bring to the table to help you with your casework. it's really important, I think, that we can explain about the technology and what we're trying to do with it, but it's also equally important to hear from a real user, someone who has tested it and is using it for real casework. So I'm very pleased that Henrik Larsen from the Danish National Police has agreed to give us an overview about his experiences with VisionX. So I'll pass you over to Henrik.
Thank you, James, and thank you for the opportunity to share my experiences with the VisionX with you. As James said, my name is Henrik Larsen. I'm a firearms examiner with the Danish National Police. I've been working here for the last 22 years. First of all, I would like to give you a simplified overview of the Danish National Police. As you can see, we have the Commissioner. Underneath the Commissioner, we have the Forensic Services, National Crime, Cybercrime Investigation Center, and so on. And we also have some intelligence services, as you see on the right side. On the left side, you see the 12 regional police districts, which the country is divided into. If we go into details of the forensic services, you will see it's covered by the National Center of Forensic Services, which covers the country of Denmark plus Faroe Islands and Greenland. We are divided into a crime scene investigation unit, a firearms and tool mark unit, fingerprint, DNA, and identification unit. If we look into the firearms and tool marks unit, it consists of 10 firearms examiners. We use an IBIS-TRAX HD 3D system. We have 2 comparison microscopes, and we just purchased a VisionX confirmation station. For the tool marks unit, we have 7 tool marks examiners, who uses 2 comparison microscopes. Before we purchased the VisionX, we had a 6 weeks trial of the system, and all the users were trained by Project China prior to this 6 weeks trial. We tried to use it in all kinds of casework, both for the firearms and also for the tool marks. The small picture you see on the left side is a piece of paper that was along with the microscope when the users were testing it, and they filled in their pros and cons on this piece of paper. So we came up with some key benefits to the examiner from this trial period. One of the things that were mentioned from all the users was that you do not need to readjust when you change the magnification. This is really a big step forward if we compare it to the equipment that we used before. Also, that the objectives are motorized. You don't have to change them by hand, so you will not disturb the objects that you have put on the stage. Illumination is very good, and it can be easily adjusted, and it's very easy to put it up in the same way on both stages. And what you see on the camera and on the computer monitor is very similar to what you see in the binocular tube. That's a well-known problem with microscopes, that you don't get the same image, and it's very good in here, on VisionX was our experience, and also that the images are very clear and crisp. The control panel is, as an examiner, it's very nice to work with. It's right where you need it, and you very easily get used to the controllers and where they are located. What I like especially is that all the things that you need to adjust on the microscope is in a special color. So all the things that you need to move around manually is colored red, and that's very easy to use. The bullet holders are very good for firearms examination. It almost gives you the 3D experience you have from when you look at the match point. You can move your object around. You can almost do that on the VisionX as well. And of course the link to IBIS. Being able to, as Andy just showed, seeing the HD 3D images on the VisionX computer when you use the hit viewer is also a very good thing. What we found out that some of the toolmarks examiners really liked the working space, and they could easily work with large objects. Another important thing is the support from FTI and Project China that we covered in the same way as we are with the IBIS system, 24/7. we don't experience that with the other brands of Microscope we have. And also, of course, as Andy also mentioned, the remote confirmation is a big step forward, especially for a place like Scandinavia, where we have a regional network between Denmark and Sweden and Norway. We were in the process of going through the MC Fate proficiency test, and I had the opportunity to try it on the VisionX as well. As you know, the Fate 2015 consists of 10 sets of known matches. It is double casts, and it's an evaluation of your competences. We use it in our ISO 17025 program to say that to be a confirmer, you need to have a successful participation in the MC test. This is some of the casts from the MC test, 12 caliber. And if you look at the black arrow on the right side, it's actually a neck bubble. I didn't see that on the other microscopes that we use, but when I moved it to the VisionX, I was actually able to find this small air bubble, which was not visible on the other brands of microscope. Another one, this is 25 Auto. This is a test set from the Fate test as well. Moved it to the VisionX, found some details there that was not visible on the VisionX, marked with the frame there. And if we go closer, you will see all the fine details. This is a photo from the VisionX. On the same cartridge case, we have this from the rim. It's a very, very small mark. And if we compare it with the image I could get from the VisionX to what I had on the other microscope, you'll clearly see the difference, and you'll see the amount of details which is shown on the VisionX photo. So summary for me is that the VisionX is, in my opinion, the next generation of microscopes. It's as it says here, many advantages over its competitors. Support is very important. You can call 24/7 and you will give the support to both the software and the hardware that you need. And also for IBIS users, the hit view is very important, especially in the speed of confirmations. And I think that it's brilliant and it's a genius idea to call it the IBIS confirmation station, which really helped us in our procurement, because IBIS confirmation station, it is an upgrade to IBIS instead of a brand new microscope that you're trying to buy. What we could suggest in the future would be to have remote control of the holders. That means that you will actually be able to control a microscope in another country, and that's will, in my opinion, make the package complete.
Thank you very much, Henrik. It's James back again. So I was just going to go through some of the I guess key learning points from each of the presentations, but just as a quick reminder before I do that, we've got a couple of questions to answer, but if anybody else has a question, then please type it into the screen there and press send, and we'll collect those up at the end and try and tackle as many as possible. So, I mean, listening to the three different presentations, the things that jump out for me are, you know, the VisionX has been quite successful in the short time it's been on the market. I think we've sold systems to nearly 20 countries now, and we're very excited about the technology. As Remo said, it was very much built from the ground up, and it was designed specifically for firearms and toolmarks examiners. We used a lot of feedback from the user community to really make sure that we designed a product that was going to help our customers do their job better and more efficiently. So from the superior optics and image quality to the usability of the system to the new features being able to link it to IBIS and being able to see some of the hit images from IBIS, so you can recreate, get the exhibits in the right orientation to speed up the confirmation process, to even doing remote confirmations. We're really trying to push the boundaries of what we can do with a comparison microscope to make the process more efficient. And one of the other things we're very strong on is support, and being able to deliver the same quality of support as we do with our IBIS technology around the world, I think will help our customer community get the most value out of the product. So I wanted to thank the presenters, Remo, Andy and Henrik, in particular Henrik for taking time out to explain from his perspective, an expert's perspective, what he really likes about the technology. So the first question that we had is, how smooth are the motorized controls compared to a manual operated microscope? Now, I'm going to throw that over to Henrik if he doesn't mind, because I think it's best to get his perspective from a real user point of view.
Thank you, James. I think the first time you try to work with the joysticks, it's kind of a strange feeling, because the more force you put into it, the faster the motor moves. But it's very easy and it's very fast when you get used to it, and it's so I will say that it moves the way you want as soon as you get used to it. But it's a new way to work on a microscope, so you have to adjust a little bit, but it's very, very good. So the more force you put on the joystick, the faster it moves. I hope that answers the question.
Thank you, Henrik. I had a question for Andy. With the new remote confirmation capability, how much feedback are we getting from the user community about the interest in that, as we're seeing guns cross borders and investigators needing to be able to compare exhibits from different countries? What's been the interest on that feature in particular?
Yeah, for the peer-to-peer feature, it's a new way of thinking, and it's interesting to see how people are gravitating towards it, because it's a brand new direction to go in, but people are excited to see how it is. It's a matter of getting the controls to work between the two sites. You can benefit from the experience of each examiner, and of course having that real-time conversation between the two as they're looking it over will be valuable to getting a proper conclusion as well. But it's a new way of thinking, and it's interesting to see how people's eyes light up at the prospect of how that could actually be applied when they have these interjurisdictional hits. So it's there's eager anticipation, I think, for how this can really change the way they work.
Thank you, Andy. Well, well, we haven't had any more questions come in right now, but if you do have more questions, then please don't hesitate to contact us and send them to us. If you'd like to find out more about the VisionX, or maybe try to see it in action, then again I would encourage you to reach out and contact us, and we'll try and arrange something appropriate. So once again, thank you very much to all the presenters, and to you, the attendees, for spending your time listening about VisionX, our next generation comparison microscope. We'll close the session there, and we look forward to hearing from you if you have any questions.